Okay, we're in 4.2. We're going to use the unit circle to evaluate the 6 different trig functions. So for the t of pi over 6, the first thing we have to do is we're look at our circle, which is this thing right here. I'll go ahead and zoom in on it for a little bit for a second. And since we're talking about pi over 6 is this angle right here. To use the circle, we have to use the ordered pair that goes with it, square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. This square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2 is what we're going to use to evaluate the 6 trig functions. So, I'm going to write that ordered pair down right here, square root 3 over 2. Sorry, not negative, but square root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. That's the ordered pair of pi over 6. Well, sine is known as the same thing as the y value, and so sine of pi over 6 is going to be 1/2. The cosine is the same as the x value of the ordered pair, so the cosine of pi over 6 is square root 3 over 2. The tangent value is y over x, and so that's going to be 1/2 over square root 3 over 2. Then we have to simplify that by taking 1/2 times the reciprocal, 2 over square root 3, to get 1 over square root 3. The 2's cancel. And then we have to multiply the top and the bottom, and we rationalize this by the square root of 3 over 3, since we can't have a square root on the bottom. And therefore the tangent of pi over 6 turns out to be square root 3 over 3 is the final answer. The cosecant of pi over 6 is going to be 1 over y. Make sure it's a y. Therefore, it's going to be 1 over 1/2. And then 1 over 1/2 will be 1 times 2 over 1, which is 2. The secant of pi over 6 is going to be 1 over x. So that's going to equal 1 over square root 3 over 2. We have to rationalize that by flipping and multiplying, so that's going to be equal to 2 over the square root of 3. Multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. And you get a final answer for the secant to be 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Then the cotangent is going to be equal to x over y, which is equal to square root 3 over 2 over 1/2. So that'd be square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. 2's cancel. So the cotangent is going to be square root of 3. That's how you find those. Let's try another one. Let's go down here to the angle of 5 pi over 4. So the first thing I do again is look at my circle. 5 pi over 4 is located on the circle right there. There's 5 pi over 4. The ordered pair that goes with it is negative square root 2, comma negative square root 2 over 2. So again, the ordered pair is negative square root of 2 over 2, comma negative square root of 2 over 2. Then to evaluate the trig functions with the circle, I'm just going to say that the sine of pi over 4 is equal to the y value. So the y value is negative square root 2 over 2. The cosine is equal to the x value, and the x value is negative square root 2 over 2. So that means the cosine of 5 pi over 4 is negative square root 2 over 2. The tangent of 5 pi over 4 is going to be y over x. And essentially, since the y and the x are the same thing, when you divide the same two things, you end up with the number 1. Cosecant of 5 pi over 4 is 1 over y. So if I take my answer from sine and I flip it over, I get that. Multiply top and bottom by square root 2, and that gives me 2 square root 2 over 2, and since it's negative, it's going to be negative like that. The secant and cosine are opposites, and so since secant is 1 over x, or sorry, not opposites, but reciprocals, I take the reciprocal of that, which is 2 over negative square root 2. And since I already simplified it once up here for cosecant, I'll do the same thing and get negative 2 square root 2 over 2. And notice I forgot something. The 2 cancels out to leave a final answer of negative square root of 2. Which means also the final answer on cosecant is also negative square root of 2. And then for cotangent, cotangent is known as x over y. And since cotangent and tangent are just reciprocals of each other, this should be also is going to give us 1. This one was 1 also. So there we go. There's how you do the 5 pi over 4. Let's do another one. Let's do pi. So I go to my circle. I find pi. Pi is right there. It goes along with negative 1 comma 0 for the ordered pair. So for negative 1 comma 0, pi is the same as y. So the y is 0. So the sine of pi is 0. Cosine goes along with x. So the cosine of pi is negative 1. Tangent, again, is y over x. So that's going to be 0 divided by negative 1, which is 0. Cosecant is 1 over y. So essentially I flip the x, make it 1 over 0. I can't take 1 divided by 0, so cosecant of pi is undefined. For the secant of pi, I do 1 over x. So that's 1 over negative 1, which is still negative 1. Cotangent of pi is going to be x over y. So x over y, so negative 1 over 0. Anything divided by 0, still undefined. Let's do one more, just in case you haven't got the idea yet. Let's do negative pi over 3, a negative number. For negative pi over 3, I go to the circle. Notice I'm working backwards though. To find a negative angle or a negative pi over 3, I have to go backwards like this. And so I know that negative pi over 3 is going to be down here at 5 pi over 3. They're the same thing. Because if I have 0 and I subtract pi over 3, it's negative pi over 3. It's the same thing as 5 pi over 3. They're what we used last time called coterminal angles. So I'm going to use 5 pi over 3, 1/2 comma negative square root 3 over 2. So 1/2 comma negative square root 3 over 2. Put it on the screen so you can see it. There we go. And so the sine again is equal to y. Y is negative square root of 3 over 2. Cosine is equal to x. The x value is 1/2. Tangent again is y over x, so I have to take square root of 3 over 2, divide that by 1/2. Since they both have a 2 in the denominator, they cancel, leaving negative square root of 3 divided by 1, which is negative square root of 3. Cosecant of pi is going to be 1 over y, so I take the y and flip it over. Negative 2 over square root of 3. To rationalize this, I have to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. And I'm going to get negative 2 square roots of 3 over 3 times over 3 there. For secant is equal to 1 over x. So I flip the cosine value of 1/2 to make it 2 over 1. That's just 2. The cotangent of negative pi over 3, cotangent is x over y. And so essentially what I do is I can flip the tangent value and make that 1 over the negative square root of 3. Multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. I'm left with negative square root of 3 over 3 is my final answer there. I'd like for you to do number 33 out of your book. Number 33, which is tangent 3 pi over 4. I'd like for you to press pause And then when you come back, you can check your answers, see if you got them right. Okay, well, 3 pi over 4 is the same as negative square root 2 over 2, comma, square root 2 over 2. So this one's equal to the y, so it's square root 2 over 2. Cosine equal to the x, so it's negative square root 2 over 2. Tangent is equal to y over x. So if I take square root 2 over 2 divided by negative square root 2 over 2, you should get negative 1. Cosecant is equal to 1 over y. So I'll inverse the sign, make it 2 over square root of 2. Multiply top and bottom by square root of 2. And that gives me 2 square root 2 over 2. 2's cancel, leaving just square root 2. Secant is going to be the same thing. It's going to be 1 over x. And so it's going to be flip this one to make it 2 over square root 2. And since we already simplified this once, and it's going to be negative, it's just negative square root 2. Cotangent is this, the inverse of the tangent. So the inverse of negative 1 is still just negative 1. And that's number 33.